when the world, Hashem wanted to create the world, which actually, the day Scott and Kata got married, was the first day of the creation of the world. You know, the world was created in 6 days, and 6 days before Rosh Hashanah, when Adam was created, is the 25th day of Elul, when Kata and Scott got married. And the Medrash says that when Hashem wanted to create the world, there was the angels in the sky, and there was an argument amongst the angels. Some of the angels said that people should not be created, and some of the angels said that people should be created. The angels that said that people should be created said, people will do judgment, people will set up courts of law, and there'll be judgment in the world. And the angels that said that people should not be created said, people fight, and peace is the greatest virtue. Hashem's name is even called peace. And people are lacking peace, unfortunately, many times. So therefore, man should not be created. And eventually Hashem said, you know what? I don't care about these angels. And he threw the angels that were arguing with him down to earth, and he created man anyways. Years later, in the times of Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, there was an argument of, is it better that man exists, or is it better that man shouldn't have existed at all? So Beis Hillel said man should exist. Beis Shammai said man shouldn't exist. They argued for 2 years until they finally decided it's better that man should never have existed to begin with. But now that man exists, a man should look into his deeds and see how he could do better. So it's interesting. We see that there was an argument similar to the angels, that some said man should not exist, and some said man should exist. And at the end of the day, the halacha was with those that said man should not exist. How could it be that the halacha is not in accordance with God? God himself created man, and he said man should exist. And he took those angels that were arguing, and he threw them down to earth. And yet we find that the machlokas, that the halacha is in accordance with those that said man should not exist. And now that he exists, he should look into his deeds. How could it be that the halacha is in accordance not with God? So we know it says in the beginning of the Torah, it says that Adam was created by himself. There was no woman. So all the animals, Hashem created male and female. But man, Hashem created just man. And it says that woman actually was part of man's body. So there's a machlokas, either man had 2 faces, one female, one male, or it was his rib, or whatever, his tail, or whatever. Okay? But
you had to go there.
I'm sorry, I just had to go there. But a woman was part of man's body. So Hashem created man. He didn't create woman until afterwards, when man looked at all the animals and said, how come all the animals, they have a spouse, and I'm the only one who doesn't have a spouse? So God, he sedated Adam, and he took part of his body, and he created woman, and he gave him to Adam. But originally, Adam was created alone. So the Gemara says, why was Adam created alone? So that every man should look at himself, every woman and every man should look at themselves and say, people were created in the singular. People were created individuals. Meaning that the entire world was worth it just for one person. One person alone, the entire world was worth it for. So every person has an obligation to say, Bishvili nivra olam. For me, the world was created. And that's why a person was created alone. But really, at the end of the day, there's 2 people, right? Hashem created one man, and he took the woman from him, and he gave it to man afterwards. But Hashem originally created one person, so that every person should look at himself as he has this obligation. So now we can answer how it could be that the sages, at the end of the day, they said the halacha unlike God himself. Because really, they're in accordance with God, of course. Because God only created man by himself, unlike the opinions of those angels, in order to show that man should fix his deed, that a man has an obligation to look at the world and say, the world was created for me, and the Gemara says, therefore it's my obligation to see that the world is not destructed. It's my obligation, this world was created for me, that this world flourishes and prospers. And after man recognized that, then God was able to take man and separate woman from man and give woman to man as a wife. So the angels that disagreed that man should be created, what did they say? They said that there's not going to be peace in the world. So if man was created alone, there wouldn't be peace in the world because there's no opportunity for peace. If a man is all about himself, there's no peace. There's no one else. But when God separated woman from man and he gave the woman to the man to be together with him, So that was the opportunity for peace, that man and woman should have peace together. So God fixed old issues. God created man alone at first to say that man has an obligation to fix his deeds, and then he took woman and gave her to man so that man should have an opportunity to create peace in the world, and therefore placating those angels, placating those angels that were arguing against the creation of man. I just want to say a blessing that the chassan and the kala, the bride and the groom, should have many, many years of joy and peace together, and their joy and their peace should spread throughout the entire world. And I know Sky is a big Baal Chesed. He's someone that loves to do kindness with other people. I've heard so much about him, even though today is the first day I've met him. But I feel like I've known him for a long time, thanks to his beautiful bride constantly telling me everything about him, how he's so kind and how he's always trying to help other people. And I give a blessing to the bride and the groom, whoever my blessings were, that they should continue to spread that kindness throughout the entire world and be a light for the world.
Amen. Amen.